All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the All About the Data podcast show. You already know what it is. We back with another special guest for y'all to drop some more data gems. I like that, data gems.
Ooh, not data gems.
We got to take notes on that one. Back to drop some data gems. But we got Fatou in the building. Sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and just introduce her, but I'll allow the co-hosts to introduce themselves and we can get it started.
Hey, welcome back, y'all. I'm Shanice, and we have a very good show ahead of us today.
You already know what it is. Jafar Campbell, Quant King J in the building.
Yeah. We're gonna start calling him Quant. We're gonna start calling him Quant. Shouts to Frank.
Oh, yeah, Quant.
Frank in the Discord said we just called you Quant, so we're gonna call you Quant. Quantum physics.
Yeah, you're gonna be J-Mar Data J.
Quantum physics. But we got special guest Fatou in the building. Fatou is actually a doctoral student in cybersecurity at Marymount University. She graduated summa cum laude with a bachelor's of art in political science from Howard University. She continued her education at Fordham University, where she received her master's of science in cybersecurity. Her research area of focus is on privacy with an emphasis on policy and data in cybersecurity. Fatou is currently a data scientist at a consulting firm, a visiting professor of computer information systems, and data science adjunct professor. I've seen so much data science, master's, cybersecurity. You the GOAT.
I tried. No,
that's impressive, your bio.
Thank you.
That's pretty dope.
I feel like we're
right.
Like, how many master's degrees do you have?
Okay.
I felt like
a doctoral
we were a whole researcher, professional, politician.
I'm crying. Not the
politician.
That's good though. Life is never ending learning journey, right? So that's what's up. But go ahead and introduce yourself.
Now you said the most of it is actually interesting. So I'm originally from New York. I was just telling them that, the Boogie Down Bronx. I currently reside in the DMV area. My actual transition into tech wasn't like something that I actually originally planned to do. I actually studied political science in hopes to go to law school. And I had an internship with the New York Supreme Court and the Bronx Supreme Court in the same summer, and decided that this is not for me. That's not something that I want to pursue. Although I was really in love with the whole idea of law school, I think the process of me getting to law school, the LSAT, kind of scared me a little bit. So I am a little punk. So shout outs to everyone who is in law school and got through the LSAT. Really shout outs to you. But another thing was my heart wasn't in it. And I think that when you are going into a career and you just realize that, this is something that I knew I wanted to do since I was young, but when I actually got the experience to do it, which is why internships are so important, I realized this is not something that I will wake up every morning and be like, oh, court, let me go and fight people. And don't get me wrong, there's other ways that I can show up for my community, but being a lawyer just wasn't what I wanted to do. And being that there were so many different aspects of law that I could go into, corporate law was not seeing me, that was not happening. But if I go into any other aspect of law, it's when will I get tired of this? And I knew at some point I would, and it just wasn't worth to me the 3 years of law school or 4 years of law school, depending on full-time or part-time. And then being able to pass the bar, and it's is this something that I want to do? But I had got another internship where I was basically a tech fellow, and I was this is cool. What is this? And then I started doing research into what tech stuff is. And then I was I'm gonna just graduate. So funny story, I actually graduated a year early from Howard. So I didn't really have the chance to change my major because it was just one of those things where you're at the finish line. So just finish. And I started looking up master's programs. I was I don't really know about cybersecurity, but we're going to jump right into a master's because I didn't really know anything about the certifications. So had I done things differently, I don't know if I actually would have went the certification route. The reason being is I've always wanted to continue to do some sort of research, right? So even though I wasn't going for a JD, I knew I wanted to go into higher ed and stay in academia. And I don't know if I would have went the certification route. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I would have ended up back in school. So I decided to do a master's. And then while I was doing my master's, I was like, yo, like this is dope stuff. Cybersecurity is still fairly new and there's not much research done in the field. So I was like, we gonna go get a doctorate too. And here I am. So I'm still in the process of that, hoping to finish within the next few years. So we'll see.
Yeah,
I'm glad that you're so. Oh.
No, go ahead.
No, I just want to say I'm glad you're so transparent, like being self-aware, like law school wasn't for you. Because people would be like, well, you know what, I'm just going to finish. I'm here now. And it'll affect their work later on. Like they wouldn't want to do it. And so, yeah, I think that's really dope that you did that. You made that switch when you felt you needed to.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I heard the bar exam is like crazy hard, like difficult.
Man, I think that I'm like cybersecurity. I'm like, girl, I took my cybersecurity, my security plus. Like what was that? 2018, Jamar? 2018. And man, that thing was hard as hell.
Yeah. So
I passed first try, but I was like, nah, you did cybersecurity because I already know all those cryptography and all that stuff is no joke. So I was surprised you even said law was difficult.
Yeah, I wasn't with it with law. Like it's something that if you're not intrigued into it, you're kind of just like,
Yeah, you gotta have at least an interest in it,
right,
at the most. So but would you say that your law background is what got you specifically into like data privacy, or?
Yeah, for sure. I think once I started getting into my master's and I started taking various classes, which is why if you want to, I would recommend it, because I was exposed to many different areas of cybersecurity. I was introduced to like the cybersecurity policy aspect, the intelligence aspect of it. I was introduced to the forensic aspect of it. And if you wanted to do like pen testing, like I had a class where we did like labs and stuff. So like we used like Wireshark, like it was so cool. But
Wireshark.
Yeah, man. Okay.
I remember those days.
Yeah. Let's not bring those back up.
I'm sorry, I won't start it again. So when I took it was like a tech policy class, I was like, oh my God, like this is so dope, because there aren't a lot of cybersecurity policies that you hear about. First of all, a lot of our policies now, I'm not trying to get all political, but they're very outdated. So we need new policies that kind of like mesh with the technologies that we're introducing today. And I'm not just talking about like physical technologies, but just like how different it is to like, I don't know, order your like COVID test to your house. Like, is there any policy that's protecting people to actually know if are you actually ordering this, or is somebody, you know, like acting like they're you? So there's like nothing to kind of protect us in the digital space. And I think that that's one of the aspects that kind of like intrigued me even more. One of the things that I'm actually focused on in my dissertation is just utilizing like social media evidence in like law enforcement investigations, or just digital evidence in general, but specifically focus on social media, because, you know, if you use a platform like Instagram, Facebook, or Meta, right, TikTok, these platforms are free for us to use. We don't have no subscriptions, nothing. We just post on them. But if something is free, you're the product. They're selling you. They're selling your data that you're providing them. And that is something that scares me to a T, because it's like, we, not us, but people will get on there, because I will assume that we know better, right? Studying cybersecurity, but people get on social media and just post like, congrats on your new car, but I can see your license plate number. You don't know how much information I can do with that. Congrats on the house. You posted the city and state. I can see the 4-digit address. Now I know what you live on, you know? Just so many things that people don't realize, like even just like, it was funny because I was driving one day and I like looked at someone's like sticker on their car. Maybe I should have been paying attention to the road, but I was looking at the stickers on the car, and they had like the school, like proud parent of so-and-so school, and, you know, National Honor Society parent. And I was like, why are you doing this? Like, this is the sticker for the fridge, for the crib, like not for your car, because people can really know where you're from, and there's no way to kind of like this is just physical, but like online, like there's no way to protect you. Once that information is out there, it's like your digital footprint from when you young.
You know, it's so crazy. You don't even like, if you don't study this stuff, you don't even think about that. Like, you're just like, you know, you just
posting whatever, like, oh, that's where I'm at. Like, I always my friends, like, vacation, do not post me, do not post the location. Wait until we get back home. We're in the comfort of our zone and act like you're there then. And people gonna be confused, like, I just saw you. Like, I know I was there last week.
I did the same thing.
When I studied the security portion in the Network Plus, like after I learned like social engineering and all that, I two-step factored out everything. Like, and I used to hate that because I'm like, I always gotta type in the code. But I was like, man, I'd rather type in the code than get hacked. You know, everybody talks about Cash App and like, oh, getting hacked. I'm like, no, they're getting hacked because they don't have security measures. I've had Cash App for years and never got hacked.
Yeah, two of my little cousins got hacked on IG.
Like you can't even send money from my Cash App without a code. So like,
I'm not a Cash App fan.
Me neither.
I'll stick with my Apple Pay.
Come on.
I also like when everybody was using Cash App, that's when I kind of got into cybersecurity for real. And then like once they got hacked, I'm like, you're not about to play with my money. Like there's no you can't come back from that. Like that's money in my account that you claim. We're not
exactly.
So I just kind of was like, you know, I trust Zelle. You know, if something happens, I contact my bank and be like, yo, what's up? You know, that wasn't me. And but with Cash App, it's just like they don't even have a phone number. Do they have one now?
I don't know. They don't have one yet.
They still don't have one.
Who I'm gonna contact?
Nah, they don't have one.
Exactly.
I could have sworn I contacted them one time.
Nah,
no, that wasn't Cash App. That was a hacker. That's what you called.
Well, they ain't getting none from me. So
Fatou, I agree with you though, because like even when I type in my name like on the internet, I'm like, dang, well, y'all just got my whole address, everything. Like people don't even know, like when you register to vote, like all of that is public information.
And it also,
like, I mean, if you remember back in the day, it was no different than the yellow pages. You can just open up.
Yeah, that's true.
Nobody flipping through a book to find somebody. Like, I mean,
that's dedication.
Hey,
back in the day now.
That lady did put a hit out on her ex-boyfriend the other day, Florida woman.
Yeah, back in the.
I mean, it's Florida.
Oh, come on. Florida ain't as crazy.
It's always Florida women or Florida man.
Every time something crazy happened and it's out of the ordinary, I don't know. It's gonna be Florida, Texas, or Cali, but Florida got it first. And
Nah, we be chilling in Florida. We be chilling.
Chilling my tail.
See, it depends on what part of Florida.
People hear these stories and
it depends on what part of Florida.
Though. See,
I can only speak for South Florida. South Florida, we just vibe. We don't be on no crazy stuff.
It be us. We be the Florida man and the Florida woman. It is South Florida.
It's a general consensus. Florida is crazy. That's the bottom line. It is what it is. Just embrace it.
Anywho, shout out to everybody that's from Florida. Team Florida, baby. Hey,
gang, you already know.
Please.
I feel like you shouldn't be living in Florida for real. You should be, you know, it's so funny how we having this conversation and saying where we from, because data people, what are we doing?
Oh my gosh. Look, that's the whole scope of the whole meeting. And we're like, we all from here. Find us now.
That is why I call all about the data, right? I'm just
throwing all of our cybersecurity principles out the window.
But you know, this conversation is actually interesting though, because I came across data privacy, I want to say like a month ago from a Twitter space actually. And never heard about data privacy. So like, would you say that that's a growing field, or is that a field that has always been within data and it's just not as popular as being like a data scientist or a data analyst? Like,
all right, I'm gonna be real, right? So when a lot of people kind of think about like hacking, let's take it back to cybersecurity. People think about hacking. What are the hackers after? Data. A lot of the breaches that happen is because people are not taking care of their data. People just kind of think that, like, especially like companies who, like we're a small company, nobody cares. No. They care about the small companies, because if they can get to you, they can get to the bigger companies. Why? Because you have people who shop local, right? And if I can get some sort of information from you, I can take it up a notch and go to companies who maybe have a little bit more secure cybersecurity. But the hackers, the cyber criminals, anybody who's really trying to get any information, like the information is data. They're after the data, right? So when there's no data policies, you kind of see hacking becoming a thing and no repercussions. right? Like how you hack into the oil and gas and we struggling to get gas and you just get paid. Like you literally get paid and you don't get in trouble. Like I think that's actually crazy where it's like, if you really sitting there and you're just like, I got to find a way to get this money by tomorrow. You're going to learn how to hack because you're going to get that money by tomorrow. And I just think that is really, really crazy how people don't really take like the whole data privacy thing seriously, because it's one of those things where it's like, if my data is not private, you now kind of own me in a way, right? So let's go back to social media. The amount of information you provide to social media, if you type your name in on Google, an article that you posted on your social media will pop up on Google off the strength that you gave it to Instagram or Facebook, you know what I mean? Or like Twitter. Your Twitter will pop up if you just put your name or a sentence that you ever tweeted, your name will come up. And I think that like when we kind of look back to just, I think a lot of people started taking their data privacy serious when they realized that like, you know, this can affect me going to college or like having a job. I have to be careful with what I post. But if a job can look on your Instagram or Twitter, and I have my own views on that, but whatever. If a job can look through your social media sites and be like, you know, make a decision on whether or not they want to, you know, hire you, why do you think that a hacker is not going to do the same thing to say whether or not you're a vulnerable person that they want to come after? And like, it's so easy to like, just kind of like, it was funny because I said in my next life, I want to be a social engineer because it's so easy to talk to people. You start talking to people, they love talking about stuff. I went to this high school. Oh, for real? Tell me more. Cause I could just Google the mascot. Oh, my dog's name is, oh, what's your dog's name? What's your pet's name?
Oh, you see the New York accent coming out now. The scammer vibe is coming out.
You know, it's crazy.
What's your first 9 digits of your social?
What I tell people, what I actually tell people that's crazy, and Jafar actually like deals with this too, so he can shed more light on this. But I tell people are not just getting hacked. People are getting led into getting hacked. And they're not just getting into the system. Somebody's opening up a fictitious email or something. And they open that gateway for them to get in and take everything they need.
Ooh, somebody got compromised literally on Friday at like 5 o'clock as soon as I got off of work. And I'm like, yep, there go my whole
you on Monday.
There's my whole evening. Boss called me cussing. They tried to send us some ransomware.
Yeah.
Oh man, dude.
And it's so crazy because it's like, one, like now they're doing it by text messaging. I think I'm not gonna lie, they could have got me a couple of times on the text.
Yeah, the text messages are crazy. They crazy.
Looking like
they'll tag you.
I ain't gonna lie.
I texted me yesterday talking about $500 a day. I'm like,
nah. When I look at those text messages, I'm like, nope, this is not valid. Or like if they send something about a bank, I'll log into my bank app. I never click. I never click no links.
To be honest, because I feel like one, Chase has a specific number. Like, exactly. I'm saying what bank I have, but Chase has a specific number that they text you from every single time. So if I get a new thread, you're lying because I never delete those text messages. So I don't even, I just delete the message. But it was this one time where I really forgot what. Okay, I was going out the country. And like right before somebody had like used my card or whatever. So I was like contacting my bank or whatever. And I don't remember like what exactly happened, but around that same time, somebody had texted me right after, like, hey, like bank alert, like check your bank account, click this link. And I hesitated because I'm like, wait, I just had a situation where I had to contact my bank. Like, is this the bank? And it's like, this was when I first got into cybersecurity and I was like, they almost got me. And I'm like, how did y'all know that I contacted the bank? Like, it's just, was it somebody that was working there that knew I contacted y'all for y'all to like text me? And it was just so crazy because I was like, if I was somebody who did not study cybersecurity or was like a little bit aware of like my cyber, I didn't have like any cyber awareness, I would have clicked that link and my money would have been gone. They would have never got nothing because I don't got nothing, but they would have got something.
I already here first.
They would have got something.
Like college student vibes. We broke out here.
I ain't gonna lie though. Like as I'm listening to this conversation, I'm like, this would be a dope Twitter space because I feel like data privacy again is not spoken of as much as other data positions. And it's like you have people that want to be in data but also want to be in cybersecurity and not even aware that they can just merge the two.
Right. I would say this though, like you can't have data privacy without policy.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I would say. And I think that the one thing that they're kind of becoming aware now, but I think our politicians.
Yeah.
Can you go into like policy a little bit?
Yeah. Okay. So what I was going to say is basically like the people that we have in like they don't really understand technology or social media, right? There was this funny video. Oh my God, I'll send it to you afterwards. But there was this video of there was like the Facebook hearing, and they was talking about. Well, I don't even know if it was a part of the Facebook hearing, but it was a hearing, and basically one of the senators was like, what is this Finsta? Like, can you get rid of it? And like the lady's trying to explain to him, like, yo, like it's literally somebody behind the page that's basically like a catfish, but they not really, they not hurting nobody for real. They just posting what they don't want to post on their regular page. And there's like no way for you to know who it is. It's just, can we get rid of it? It's like, you can't assume that somebody's page is a Finsta, all they posting is memes that has nothing to do with you. Like, but I think that was kind of funny, but that kind of like strike the whole new like research area within my dissertation that I'm currently writing. And it was like, the policies that we have is currently outdated. So when you look at like HIPAA, they try to make HIPAA include electronic like stuff. And I think HIPAA is probably the only one where it's like, it might be legit. Like, all right, y'all following directions. Like, cause we get healthcare breaches, but it's not as much as like finance and like retail and all the other industries, because like people take medical data so seriously, because it's like medical data is the most expensive piece of data. Like if you get somebody's medical history, you kind of got access to all the other pieces of data. You can, access like their pharmaceuticals, like what kind of medicine are they using? You can have access like with schools and like, just what prescriptions. And it's so dangerous. Like if you have some access to somebody's medical data, like you don't want your medical data to get hacked. So I think hospitals take it seriously. But when we look at like the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act of like the 1700s, I'm lying, it probably came out in like the 1800s. Not the 1700s. Right, like no, it really feel like the 1700s because it's like, if you read through the laws, it's like, what does this have to do with today's technology? Because you're talking about a physical computer, but my phone is a computer. I get to walk around with this device, and you can't tell me nothing. You feel me? And it's like, why do we allow all these apps to have so much? You ever downloaded like a game and it's like, we need access to your contacts, and you're like, but why? And you just look at like, why do y'all need access to all this? But then if you really wanted to download something and you're not paying attention, you just like allow. And now they have access to your location, they have access to your contacts. And it's like, now if they get breached, all my people get breached and I get breached. You feel me? And it's like, why do they need this information? And then the crazy part about it is people's like, oh, read the privacy policies. Again, if I decided not to go to law school, why would I read this law kind of written text that just doesn't to me? And it's long. It's like y'all not getting straight to the point. Y'all
and they sign away all your rights too. You're like, yeah, we own all your photos. And
you just like agree because you're not reading it. But I did read TikTok's privacy policy. I actually wrote an article on it. And wrote a paper on it too, because it was so interesting to me, because it's like aligned with my dissertation. But it was like, yo, TikTok, man. First of all, it's not a US-based company. I don't know if that changed now, but I think it's a Chinese company. It's a Chinese.
No, it's still Chinese. It's still Chinese-based. Yeah. They never passed that.
So it's crazy how many Americans use it.
Everybody.
Let me go. Hold on, I'm about to go delete.
My cousin called me crazy.
Not you about to delete TikTok.
Is not for me. Like,
no, I mean, okay, so it's a really cool app. I mean, like the video dances. When we was in the pandemic, people was going crazy. Like it's like, I mean, we still are, but people love
my dance on TikTok and went viral with
it. Like I get on there sometimes, but like that whole like data thing, it makes me scared to get on there. Like I don't want to. It's not worth it for me.
I ain't gonna lie. TikTok be having me laughing though. I ain't gonna lie to you.
No, it be having. I be sitting there rubbing my feet together trying to make a fire because I'm so ashy. But I was like, yo, like funny.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. When I need a good laugh, I go on TikTok. But
their privacy policy is trash. They just updated it June, I think, of 2021. June of 2021, they just updated. They might have updated it again and banned me from seeing the update because I was wrong.
I can't.
I read through it, and it was like, we're allowed. Basically, it was a part in it. Oh my God, I hope I'm not messing this up, but it was basically a part in it that said we're allowed to share your data with like whoever I guess asks for it, like law enforcement officials or like whoever asks for your data. We're allowed to share it unless you're like protected under law. What effing law? We do not have any federal law, so it's only like 5 states. I think it's like Illinois, California. There's a couple, like there's like about 5. It's not more than that. That have like, actual data laws. Yeah, actually,
never went to Chicago.
Protect their people. But if you live in like, so now it's the ambiguity, right? Because it's like, do I have to have made the TikTok in that state since y'all got my location? Or do I have to be from there? And if so, how do you know? Because technically, if I'm originally like, let's say I'm from California and I go to like, I don't know, Vegas for a weekend or Miami for a weekend, and I make a TikTok there, does that content not fall under the law of being protected? Like, what is, it's so much like ambiguity. And it's like, what do you mean you're not going to share my data unless I'm protected? What does that mean? And it's like, y'all not even a US based company for real. So y'all can really do what y'all want.
Okay. So do you post videos on TikTok?
No, I do not actually. All right. Now I'm not gonna lie. I posted like one video on TikTok. That's before I learned how to make a reel. So all this content is mad hard for me. It's hard.
Yeah,
okay?
It's crazy. It'll take like an hour just to make something good. So.
And you be like re-recording, like, nah, I ain't lip sync this right. I gotta do it again. Like it look like somebody else is saying it in the background. But and I can't dance. So it's like all my stuff gotta be like
not you can't dance.
No rhythm. No rhythm. So I did post a video before, so I like kind of like saved it on there to keep the video, so I have it. But then I don't like posting it places because then people think I have TikTok, and it's like I do, but I don't. And like even though I do, I don't want to utilize that platform. So I think I got like one video that I'm probably going to delete right after this on there.
Oh man,
I forgot to delete it. Like, I be forgetting. I don't go on TikTok like that. But, like I'll post it just to save it for the content and then try to like make it my own. But when I learned how to make reels on Instagram, it was up and stuck. Like I like Instagram better.
It's up and it's stuck. I gotta follow you on Instagram. I don't think I got you on there.
Same.
I just got back on Instagram. I deleted like 3 different Instagram accounts.
Like
I actually wasn't planning to come back on, but for the sake of the podcast, I came back on. So, you know, if y'all want to follow me on Instagram, it's at DataJNTech. Probably won't be posting much on there yet because I'm not really a big fan of the gram, but it's cool. But yeah. But this is very interesting though, because I'm really liking how you could, because I did have an interest in cybersecurity, but not enough to actually go like take the security plus like my fellow brother here. Jafar. By the way, you know, a little joke that we have, I have to say it on this podcast, is there's only one letter difference in our name, right?
Again, here we go again.
Oh my God, the F and the M. Yeah. That is so funny.
So what I tell people is that when we were born, they just changed that one letter.
Yeah, but we not related.
That's so funny. I mean, y'all both from Florida, so I don't know.
The funny part is his my uncle actually lived next to his family for like our whole lives. So I used to always be right next to his house, and I never knew him until I started DJing. There. And then I started DJing for Jamar because he used to throw parties, and then we became best friends through that. So we were like best friends for like 10 years. And then one day I came to his house, and I'm like, "Yo, my uncle's house is right across the street."
What street do you live on?
I can't.
Yo, we get the first night of the social, dude. Been playing with you.
Man, listen, I told you I want to be a social engineer because I'll just be listening to people talk. I'm like, what's your dog's name? What's your favorite color? What is your mother's maiden name? What? Like, and it's like I was crazy because I told somebody on like Mother's Day, like, you know, you could like write a post like that's cute, but like you don't got to say her full government. Like you just post a picture and say Happy Mother's Day or whatever. Right. But like posting the name and the middle name and like, this is my dog, by the way. This is my dog's name. It's like, I will hack into one of your accounts right now. Don't play with me.
You know, straight off the door. You know what's so common right now, though? You know what's so common? Like, I notice it heavily in this new generation is like everybody posts their salary, what they're making. Like, it's so common. I remember growing up, it was not this common in the early 2000s.
I mean, that's
I can see why. I can see why. Yeah, like I can see why somebody would post their salary, not to like, oh, I make money, but more so like if you're applying to said company, don't let them lowball you because they will. And you know, we have to kind of stick together as like
what company did you say? I didn't hear.
I said said company. I am not companies on
this. I know what y'all got trying to be sneaky with the data, son. All y'all trying to be sneaky off the data.
What company? But you gotta make sure that you like, because you know sometimes like you can even Google like a salary The only way those salaries actually get updated is like, you know, information based off social media. When you say I work for a certain company and I work this position and this is what I got offered, you know, somebody could go in and edit it and help you while you're doing your market research. So like when you're trying to get that position. So I don't really have an issue with it. However, don't be saying all your business on there. If you're gonna say your salary, don't say the company. That's how I feel. I just feel like you don't want to put two and two together. You don't want. And I just feel like a lot of people on Twitter are kind of weird. Like, sorry to say, a lot of people are not happy for you. Like, I went viral one time on TikTok. No, not TikTok. Twitter. I went viral one time when I had first got my salary offer when I graduated from my master's, and I was like, oh my God, I just got offered my it ended up on Spiritual Word. It's probably still there because I saved the post. Like I was like, oh my God, I'm famous. But I changed my at name and everything after that because I was like, oh, this is crazy. Maybe I should change the avatar too. But I had posted like, oh my God, I got my first 6-figure salary offer at, I think I was like 22 or 21 at the time. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't have the heart for social media. I can't do it because there was people like, congratulations. And there was people like, she's lying. She's 22 and I'm just like, one, I graduated college early. So I'm a baby, leave me alone. And then two, it was like people really just like this like clear man came on my post. And he was like, what privilege did you have? I'm sorry, do you see the color of my skin? Do you see the hijab on my head? What privilege? Because regardless of the fact, it's like, I'm not going to say I made it by myself. I clearly had a community. I had family support. I had friendships. I had people who were there for me. Like it literally takes a village. But at the same time, I felt like it was a slap in the face for you to think I was privileged in any type of way. Like my family don't come from money. So had to get it out the mud. You feel me? So I was excited about like, oh my God, like, you know, this is life changing. And it's like, people think 6 figures is a little bit like them taxes hit and it's crazy. But when you finally hit that mark, it's like, yo, I know it's only up from here. You feel me? And I was just like, I deleted the post because I was just like, you know, it was like 375K likes. And I was like, yeah, we got to go. Like, I'm not dealing with this second thing. Like, literally, I wasn't even excited anymore. I was like, I beat you all.
You could have muted it. I would have muted it.
No, I don't, because then I start looking through the comments and stuff, and I see something that get me upset, and I feel like I got to respond to it, and that's when I knew.
No, I'm the same way.
It's the New York in you. You just gotta catch him on bad timing. Catch him a bad timing.
I'm the same way, but I respond. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I can't do it, and that's why
you gotta stop.
You try to make me look crazy. I'll make you look crazy.
Blacking out.
And I'm just like, you don't even want this. Like, I don't want this energy. Like one, I didn't even use Twitter like that. That was the crazy part. I didn't use Twitter like that. This was probably like maybe 2 years ago or a year ago. I didn't use Twitter like that. And I posted it, literally went to sleep and like woke up and my friends were like, yo, bro, check your Twitter. And I'm like, my notifications was off and everything. Like, that's how much I didn't use Twitter. I checked my Twitter. I'm like, what this number say? Like, I was trying to figure out what the K was because I ain't never see that before next to my post. And I'm just like, I get like 3 likes or something before. And I'm like, oh my God, this went viral. And I was just like, I don't like this. And then when people started saying negative stuff, I was just like, yeah, nah.
It's weird how people just come on your post and just say negative stuff. Like, you gotta be a real jacked up person.
Very bold with it.
Take time out to do that.
There's this DevOps engineer, Jennifer Opal. She just made a post like this on LinkedIn about how like Black women are usually targeted when it comes to like posting their salary, about how they're lying about it and how like they must have, you know, gotten some privilege, like you said. So yeah, that's a whole other conversation that we need to have.
And I was like super confused because I'm like, I don't like to tell my life story in order like for someone to like, you know, okay, you deserve this. But I'm also like, it's just one, getting into tech, regardless of the position, whether you're like a cybersecurity analyst, data scientist, a project management, product manager, it don't matter what you do in tech, it's hard. Our job is hard. It's emotionally taxing. It's mentally like, it's hard because you're sitting in front of a computer all day. And it's like, whether you're coding, I code all day because I am a data scientist. And like, for the most part, it's like coding, visuals, like it's hard because if one part of your code isn't right and you're not pulling the right data, there's no, I'm gonna just, you know, sweep this under the rug. No, you got to give people the right information. So you got to go back or you're like lying basically, and data is facts. So it's like, you don't want to ever sit there and not give nobody.
Data is facts. Dang, we got to put that in the show too. So we got data.
Data is also the heart of technology. It is the heart of technology. Without data, there would be no cybersecurity. I think people need to put some respect on this data.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay.
Respect on the data.
Let them know.
This is a very fervent podcast today.
There will
touching
be
on a
no
lot of passionate
cybersecurity
subjects.
without data.
That's why I called it all about the data too, because I'm like, I come from a marketing background, and even when I was in marketing, I was using data. At the time, I didn't know I was using data.
I hate y'all.
Paying you data?
Yes, because Instagram and stuff are getting paid off of y'all.
We're the reason.
Off of us because of y'all. Because you ever Google something? Like the other day I went skiing. Oh my God. And I kept just seeing skiing reels and skiing ads.
That's what we do.
Come on.
But it's not going to be that easy going forth, because third-party cookies are about to be like banished. So now it's going to be first party that they really rely on.
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited about that, actually.
I don't know how that makes me feel though. Like it's kind of cool sometimes when it's like, oh, y'all reading my mind. I ain't even got to Google this. Like, it's kind of cool when you just
I don't remember exact reason why they said that they wanted to get rid of it exactly, but yeah, it like running ads. When you're running ads, you like use those data, it can, I thought it was pretty cool, but I guess they have their reason that they want to merge it out. So
I think it's also because people are like getting into like the whole data privacy thing that we're talking about. So
that too,
if I shared my data with Instagram and you're going out your way to share my data with the rest of the world, we have issues. So I think people are becoming more aware of like what they're posting and stuff.
Yeah. Because with first party cookies, it's like, you basically know that this is where you want to go. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be challenging, but I'm up for it for sure. But I'm glad you brought up data scientists again. Go ahead. Bro.
Yeah. I want to top off of that because I wanted to ask you, like, first and foremost, like, why data scientist out of data analyst or data engineer, and what do you do like at your consulting firm as a data scientist?
So it's so crazy because I really don't have like a clear answer. So if I go like off the rails, just let me know, like, be like, yo, come back. That's not the question. So I never aspired to be a data scientist. Like, I've never like looked and said, oh my God, I want to be a data scientist. Like, I knew it was a part of tech, but I didn't know how heavy it was within tech. Like, it's literally like every position that you have, or every company needs to have a data scientist if you're working with tech. Like, that's just how I feel about it. Like, you need to, if you want to be successful. Even if you're not like a tech company, if you run a regular business, you need a data scientist, because like, they analyze, or a data analyst, because they got analyze the data and stuff. So when I was applying to all these like cybersecurity analyst positions, right? And then I guess my resume floated to a recruiter's desk, and they were like, hey, we don't have a cybersecurity position here right now for you, but we do have a data scientist position. And like, my face was like, what that got to do with me? What that got to do with me? I just told you I'm gonna do cybersecurity, and you telling me about data science. I'm like, what that got to do with me? So like, she was very persistent. She was really nice. So she was like, I'll hop on the call with you. Like, I like, you can go through the interview process and you make the decision on whether or not you want the job. And I was like, all right. So, in the back of my head, I'm like, bro, I really just told you I want to be a cybersecurity analyst. She's like, you can always switch roles and stuff. And I was just, So I was like, okay. I did some research, and I was trying to figure out, like, because the one thing with me is I already decided not to go to law school, right? So I have that political science degree. Then I decided to get my master's in cybersecurity. So now I have like cybersecurity and like political science. Then I decided to get a doctorate, and I'm doing cybersecurity policy. So it made sense. Now, if I pivot into data science, child, like, what am I doing? So I was like, okay, let me look up, what a data scientist does. Like, I was aware, but I wasn't like fully aware. So I looked up the skills. I'm like, okay, I learned Python. I know Python. Okay. Like, it's not going to waste. I could be using this. Then I was like, wait, this is like numbers, and like, it's like quantitative. Like, I can do this. Like, I love numbers. Like, at some point I wanted to be a math major, because they said if you like study math, it's easier to take the LSAT. It was very weird. It was like, they don't like pre-law and like political science majors. Like, don't quote me on this, but I like heard this from like a mentor, and she was like, you want to do something that's different. Like, I was like, okay. But I was like, I'm not doing math. Like, I don't want to study math. That's going to be crazy. So fast forward, I'm like, okay, like, I get to actually use like stats and all this other cool stuff. Like, I want to do this. So I went through the interview process, and then, again, I didn't have a data science background. So they paid for me to go through a data science training after they hired me. Like, I was getting paid as if I was working as a data scientist, but they trained me. And I was like, and it wasn't like, training where it's like we're teaching you from the bottom. It was kind of just like you have the skills already. We're just kind of going to teach you how to like apply it and stuff. Yeah. And I really fell in love. And I was like, you know what? This makes sense that I am a data scientist because now I know the importance of, you know, the data engineering aspect of it, the data management aspect of data, like just being able to like analyze data that you have in front of you and why is it so important? Then it goes back to like the policy aspect of it, like the need to know policies in corporations or just companies in general. It's like, you don't need access to this. What are you doing? You don't even work here. Like you don't need access to this. So it's like, it put everything in perspective for me. And I literally feel like my life came around for full circle when I started doing like data science. And then like, my brain doesn't like to write as much. Like, yeah, I'm a doctoral student, but I like to like code and numbers more than I like to write and read. So I just felt like it was that balance that I needed between school and work, where like I shouldn't be in a job where like if I was a cybersecurity analyst, I most likely would be having to write like white papers and stuff based on like my analysis. And I was like, this is cool. I like this. I wanna do more. And then later on, I figured that like so the unit that I work in is actually like the cybersecurity like unit with data science. So I was like, this is so cool. Like I'm doing what I need to do. And then, right. And then I realized that like, you can use machine learning to detect a cyber attack. And I was like, excuse me, like, y'all didn't tell me this when I was interviewing, like, and then it's like, it literally came around full circle. I was like, wow, like you can utilize all of these skills and it all comes down to one thing. Say it with me, guys. Data. Like it literally comes down to one thing. It's the data. Like everybody's after the data, and all these specific aspects of tech is to protect the data. All about the data. I was literally like, it was a teaching moment for me. I literally sat down and I was like, wow. Sometimes you really just like gotta go with the flow with what you want. Yeah. If I would have like, no, I'm gonna be a data analyst and like turn down that position, I don't know where I would be right now. But I'm so glad that I took it because now it's like I want to dive deep into the machine learning aspect of things when it comes to cyber security. So I'm doing that next. I'm going to try to get a machine learning cert from AWS. We'll see how that goes.
I'm trying to do that too.
It's actually we have a couple of people in the Discord been going for that too. So that's what's up. But I like how you said like not being so adamant about one position that you miss out on the next, because literally like 2 or 3 days ago, I was talking to a director of a marketing firm. And as I was just conversating with him, like going over my past and everything, you know, here I am looking for junior data analyst roles. And he's like, you have all the skill sets to be an associate marketing manager. Like, you know, you're like lowballing yourself going for a junior data analyst role. And I was like, oh, excuse me, you know, so yeah, that I definitely agree with that. You know, sometimes you just got to go with the flow. And, you know, even knowing data as a marketing manager is like, you know, so I think that's important to bring up, is that data, you like learning data doesn't mean you have to be specifically job titled as a data analyst. Knowing data, you can apply it, you know, in whatever field it is that uses data heavily, you know, like cybersecurity or like data scientists, like you said. So, So yeah, I think that's a good point. But I wanted to specifically ask this because you are representing women in tech, and most importantly, you're representing Black women in tech, and third, importantly, you're representing as a woman of faith in the tech industry. So, like, what are some challenges that you face coming up in your career?
I don't like when people talk to me like I'm stupid. I'm right there with you. Okay, because all right. When I graduated straight out of college, like I did my master, like I was doing my master's straight out of college, but before I started my master's like in the fall. So right in the summer when I graduated, I started working like straight out of undergrad. And when people, okay, this is my unsolicited advice. You don't have to listen to me, but don't ever expose your age. Even if you don't say it, don't, oh yeah, I graduated in this year. People can put 2 and 2 together and know how old you are. And I think I was like super naive and happy to be in the workplace that I'm like, yeah, I just graduated this summer. And so they were like, from where? And I was like, undergrad. The attitude is crazy. The way people treat you after they find out how young you are is crazy. And then it's like, I think sometimes people are intimidated by us younger folks who's doing the thing. Because I think it's a lot of us out there that's really young and we just either pivot careers or we had so much under our belt when we come in through the door that it's like, once they find out how young you are, it's like, oh no, you're not about to get this position over me. So I'm gonna just give you the like, you know, no, it's okay. And like bad advice, bad mentorship, like just being young and not knowing that not every person that look like you is for you. So when they try to take you and try to like, okay, like, you know, you're going to be my person and I'm going to teach you this. Like you have to have the discernment to know whether or not this person is for you for real, or if they just doing that to say, I helped this person get here. Or sometimes could be hindering you from getting to where you need to be. And I think that like being so young in the field, I was like, oh, this person wants to help me. Oh my God, friends, like, oh my God, mentorship. And it's like, sometimes you really just don't need a mentor at your job. I'm sorry. You may need somebody in your field, but they don't have to be specific to your company. And then the other thing that I learned was, be open to asking questions, even if your imposter syndrome is making you feel stupid. You're still new. Like, I don't think anybody is dumb in the tech field. Nobody knows everything. Like, you're constantly, literally every day, there's a new article, a new technology, something new that you have to learn. And I think I had to learn that the hard way, where it's like, I can't just sit back and say, oh, because this person has like 10, 15 years of experience and they've been doing this before I was even born, that I'm the dummy. 9 times out of 10, they working with old technologies that didn't exist when I was born. You know what I mean? And it's just like, what's happening? Why aren't you using the newer, you know, tools that make your life easier? And when you start to sit down and talk to these people, you realize that we're all kind of like facing it till we make it. Because I don't think anybody's being fake. We're kind of all just like, okay, this is the challenge that I have in front of me. I either have to learn this tool or I can't do my job.
You know, bringing that up too, I think that one thing that is different with this generation compared to the past is we're more so on the like contracts and, you know, moving from job to job versus, you know, it was more common to stay somewhere for 30, 40 years and just retire. So they probably don't feel like they need to learn as much new things as we need to learn, because we're trying to, you know, like get to the next company and get to the next higher salary. And so
we have more ambition.
Yeah. And I wouldn't even say we trying to just get to like, because for me, and don't quote me on this, my goal is really to just learn as much as I can. So if it means staying in a position for 3 years without a promotion, that's fine, because I need to learn my job and do it well before I move on to something else. Because what I don't want is to get to the top and now I'm looking back like, I don't really know this like that. And then you have a hard time being so excited, like getting to wherever you need to be, that you didn't even take the time to learn your job, learn the position, learn the skills and all of that, that you just, I need to get this cert and I need to do this. And it's like, yo, do you even remember what
you're going to start crazy?
I'm confused. Like, and then like, what are the networking layer protocols? And people like, and you're just like, but how? And it's so sad, because it's like, why are you so hyped to jump? You have to continuously study. Like, even though like I have my master's in cybersecurity, like I have to continuously look through those security plus questions and like constantly like, and it's a little easier for me to retain information because I'm also teaching this stuff. Like I teach like 5 classes. So it's like, it's easier for me, because when my students ask me a question, I can't be like, oh, let me look in the textbook. I got to know it offhand because they expect you to know it. You feel me? But there's certain people who's just like working in the field. And when you get into certain positions, sometimes you don't utilize all the skills that you learn, right? So it's like, yeah, I'm using Python. I had to learn SQL on the job, but I'm using Tableau. If I get into another position that's using more machine learning, I might not be using Tableau as much as I am. So like, I'm going to be a little rusty if you ask me a couple of years later, like, yo, make this dashboard for me. I'm like, hold on. It's going to take some time, but it's my job to come home and constantly be using a tool that I used before, but I'm no longer using as much, because we're human. We're going to forget certain things. And that's the worst. Like if you make it all the way to the top and somebody's asking you for the simplest thing and you're just like, I actually don't know how to read this networking traffic analysis anymore. That's not my thing. You can't do that. I mean, you can, but you're going to look crazy like on the top. So I think for me, it wasn't more so like jumping from job to, because I had a really, like, I have a good job now, but I had a really good job where like an older person would be like, are you dumb? Why are you leaving this position? And I was like, because they're not fulfilling what I need right now at this moment. Like I've been constantly asking to be in the cybersecurity or just something more tech related, and they did, but I wasn't doing what I needed to do. And I'm just like, I'm not learning anything. I need to leave. I left to learn. I didn't leave the company because I hated it. I loved it. Like, if I could go back, I will. But y'all wasn't teaching me. Y'all wasn't utilizing me. Y'all wasn't utilizing my skills. Y'all wasn't utilizing my degree. And I think that's a waste of time. And that's why I would job hop. It wouldn't necessarily be for the salary right now, but I will look at the benefits as well. So the salary and the benefits is hitting. You might have some competition, job. You might have some competition, but I wouldn't just job hop for the sake of a salary, because it's also like a lot of, like you said, a lot of these positions are contract positions. So it's like you jump and you making maybe 100K more, 50K more, but it's like, how long is this contract? Would you be out of a job in 6 months? Let's really look at the long term and not just what I can get right now, because money is cool, but it's not worth the stress. It's not worth your wellness. It's not worth anything that comes with it. Like I said, our job is emotionally taxing, regardless of what aspect you are in tech. Like, it's hard. So you don't ever want to be in a position where it's like, dang, like I'm working, I'm making money, but it's like, when was the last time you've been to therapy? Oh, I'm sorry, your job doesn't offer health benefits, so you can't even pay for it, but you're making money and you don't want to go because you don't want to pay out of pocket. Maybe you should have thought about this before you signed that dotted line on your offer. You know, so I always talk to people about that. I'm like, it's not just about the money in tech. You got to think about the benefits that come along with it. Like, are they paying for any certs? They not? Then the money that you're making really is not yours. You're not making it for real, because it's going back to these companies because you want to pay for a certification that your company is not paying for.
Yeah, therapy is definitely
have more benefits.
Therapy is a good benefit to have too, because tech can definitely, like, all the studying, the stress. It's good to definitely have that as a benefit. So I definitely agree. But I want to I want to ask you this: with everything that you have done and everything that you're doing now, like, what is some time management advice? Like, how do you handle time management? Because you do. It seems like you do 101 things.
Say the same thing.
I was like,
5 classes. She teach?
5.
Like, do you sleep? Because I know I don't sleep. So maybe we from the same place. Sleep. Oh no, we're not from the same place.
I love sleep. Like, I ain't gonna hold you. The one thing that you cannot come between me and anything else is food and sleep. You eat my food, we fighting. You wake me up out of my sleep, we fighting. Like, it's just, there's no words around that. But
you gotta keep boxing gloves on deck, huh? She got the gloves by the light stand.
What's your favorite food?
Who, mine?
Yeah.
I'm Jamaican, so I can't serve fish.
Okay, which Jamaican restaurant you go to?
Who, down here they got something called Dutch pie. So
he would have fell right into it.
You got already.
Huh?
He got.
Oh, you trying to get? See, I thought you cared. I thought you cared.
He cared. Just know
I want to be a social engineer in my next life. You all like telling me your business. Like, I'm from your house.
You got
it. Hey, look, we having a whole practice right now. Somebody go put this on their work practice section.
But yeah, I really want to know about the time management though, because I'm trying to like really take school. This is my like 6th or 7th try, and I'm really trying to take it serious this time. But I also want to study my skills to actually become a data analyst. So
how do I say that? Like,
do you have set days that you study certain things? Like,
I'm gonna be real honest. So I actually got diagnosed with hyperactive ADHD. So I don't want anybody to kind of look and be like, oh my God, she does it all. It's like, I don't kind of have a choice. My brain just be like, get up and do this. I'm like, okay. So it doesn't really, allow me to like, so like once I'm focused and I'm locked in on something, it's easy for me to just sit there and do it. If I'm not interested in something, and it goes back to like, now I understand why I didn't want to go to law school. I wasn't interested in sitting down and reading the boring text. Like, it just, my brain would not allow me to. So in my head, I was like, I can't take the LSAT, but it's like, no, you just don't want to take it. Like, you're not interested in this. So it's hard for you to focus. I think in terms of like school and work, and I just know from like, either 7 to 3 or 8 to 4, like those times are blocked out because I'm working, and I work in the office. So it's like I'm also have to like take in account commuting time and stuff. when it comes to like school, my classes are in the evenings. My other classes are all asynchronous online. So like the 5 classes are like asynchronous online. So I'm able to like post the content. Like I still have to meet with my students for office hours and check in on them and stuff. But for the other school, that class is in person. Like it's actually like a real life. I got to see the students in real life. I'm like, oh my God, people, not through a screen. That class is in person once a week. So it's like, I actually have to go, but it's like not far from my job. So I'm able to like actually go and like talk to the students and stay after with them or whatever. I try to get to campus a little early because my class is not until like 6:45. So if I leave work, I can get to campus like and just have an hour to myself, maybe eat, go to Starbucks, meet with students if I need to. My weekends are kind of like, so I actually had to get a 4-day work week for my job. I overwhelmed myself last semester and I didn't realize it. I think it was just so much. I think the pandemic actually hit me last year than it did the first year, like in 2020. I think last year it was like 2021. It was really like, yo, this is really our life. Like they said a couple of months. So it really just like, and I'm gonna be a little vulnerable. Like it put me in like a really depressed mode. Like I was just like, I can't do this. Like I'm away from family. I'm away from friends. Like I said, I like reside in the DMV. I went to school out here. So it's like, it's supposed to be lit, but it's like, nobody could come out. Every week, somebody got COVID. So it's like, you can't really hang out, like want to be healthy. I still go in the office, so I can't risk getting sick. You know what I mean? So it was like, it was just so much. And I was like, I hit a point in my life where I was like, I don't want to do none of it. I was like, just uninterested in mad stuff. Like, I don't want to go to work. I don't want to do my schoolwork. I don't want to grade your assignments. Like, leave me alone. And I realized I was like, yo, relax. Take a step back. So I told my manager, I had to be vulnerable. I'm like, I'm going through some like mental health stuff right now. I don't know what's going on, sis, but help me. Like, I need help. And she was like, this is your options. Like, and that's why I said, like, having a good company is really like, it's really P. Did I use that right? It's P.
Pushing P, baby.
Having a good company is good because the money is cool. But if you don't have somebody who's like, nah, your mental health come first. Like, they literally was like, pointing me in the right direction with resources. And they was like, how can we help you? And I was like, I can't do 5 days, y'all. I can't do it. I cannot commute 5 days. Like my brain, I just can't do it. And they was like, all right, so what you want to do? I'm like, can I do 4 days? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, for real? Is that easy? Okay.
Like, yeah,
okay.
We right
like,
now.
No, like you can do 4 days. Like you're good. Like just work your 4 days. So like now Fridays are kind of like y'all want to meet? What's up? Like, I want to talk. And then it's like, I also have like a schedule of things that I do. So it's like, I know every day when I leave work and I come home, it's either if I'm not teaching, which is on Thursdays, but like Tuesdays, like Mondays when I come home, I'll be like, okay, I'll grade this class. Tuesdays, I'll grade this class. Cause then it's a little fair, but I make sure by 8:30 p.m. or 9 p.m. my laptop is closed. I'm not doing no work.
Yeah.
I'm not, that's just me. Like I gotta put me first. Like
I set a new rule for that too. 8 o'clock, I gotta shut it down.
But then I have certain nights where sometimes in the weekends when, you don't gotta wake up early the next day, I would find myself like 1 a.m. I can't sleep anyway. Why would I scroll through TikTok when I could do some work and then save myself the next day? And maybe I could take a little walk. Like I could do fun stuff for myself if I get this work done now. But I literally, I don't think I answered your question, but I don't think I have like a set schedule. I just write down things that that's feasible. I'm not one of those people who have a long to-do list and damn well you're going to do 2 out of the 13 on this list. I'm not one of those people. I will split it throughout the week. And when it comes to deadlines, I don't like, if I have an assignment due on Sunday, I tell myself it's due Thursday. That gives me the freedom to not stress about making that Sunday deadline. That gives me the freedom to, if I do want to look back and edit this paper, which I usually don't, I can do that on Friday or Saturday. I give myself like a buffer, right? I don't ever want to be like, okay, it's due Sunday. Let me do it on Sunday. No, I give myself deadline. And I've been doing that since high school. Like I don't like deadlines. Don't tell me what to do. I will always give myself like, if you want to tell me it's due Sunday, no, it's due Thursday, because don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me I have to do it then. So I'll give myself an advanced deadline. And sometimes it's a little stressful. And then I remember in my head, like, this is not due till like 2 weeks later, but it's okay that you got it done. Now that I got it done. And then 2 weeks later, you're good. And the one reason why I give myself early deadlines is because I learned the hard way that like I was like going through some like family issues, and I realized that because your world stopped, the world doesn't stop. You will still get emails. You will still have people who expect you to like kind of perform at your full potential. And I'm like, yo, bro, like I'm going through it right now. They're like, we don't care. Sorry, but
basically.
what do you mean you need this? But I just told you. Okay. Then I realized that if that stuff don't matter to them, it has to matter to me. And I need to give myself the breathing room for if something happens, because we are human and life happens, you know? So you have to give yourself that room where it's like, F it, I'm just not going to do it. Because guess what? If you take a week off of work and you just say, I'm not paying attention to nothing y'all got going on because I'm going through my own stuff, you have double the work when you come back the following week. And that's just the reality of it. So I kind of just try to put myself in a position where don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me you need this by then, because I'm not going to listen, and I'm going to give it to you before then, because I just like to, I don't like when people are pressing down on my shoulder for deadlines. And I'm super grateful that my job isn't like that. They don't, we need this by tomorrow. Like, they don't do that. But when it comes to like school, they do that. And my students is like, I'm a student myself. So it's like, if I hand in a paper to my professor and you made it due at 11:59 p.m., I want a grade by 12:05 a.m. since you were so pressed for this deadline. Like, why are you waiting? Why are you waiting 2 weeks to grade my assignment? But when I was on the other side and I became a professor, I can see why it took 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I can see why. You're not the only student in my class, unfortunately. There's still work that has to be given and delivered, and then you're still submitting assignments. It's like, after a while, I think your teaching style kind of changes, because you're not just throwing assignments to students so they have something to do. You're actually being more intentional and purposeful with what assignments you're giving. Like, what does this have to do with their growth? And it was a little easier for me to actually like kind of like give assignments when I realized that I'm in the field that they're trying to be in, and we don't write papers for the most part. A lot of it is presentation based. You need to know how to communicate and speak to people. So I've changed the way I kind of like, yes, you're going to take like quizzes because you kind of have to, but I want you to write more discussion boards. I want you to talk to your peers. I want to have dialogue within the classroom. And when it comes to final exams, I want you to do a presentation. Tell me a little bit about what you've learned for real, and like apply it to real life scenarios. So I think that once I've kind of like gotten the grasp of what I'm learning in the workplace, and these are students who's going to eventually be where I'm at, I don't want them to not be prepared, because a lot of us don't really know how to use PowerPoint for real, if we be honest. You answer the work, you're like,
Excel pros. We Excel pros. We don't do PowerPoint.
But so this has been a good discussion, man. We're going to have to bring you on for part 2.
Well, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like,
it's so much more questions I feel like we can ask, especially when it comes to data privacy and everything to that nature. But I just want to kind of top it off with, like, you're a data scientist now. We have a lot of people in our Discord. We have a lot of people like online and so forth. What advice would you have for somebody who wants to become a data analyst today or a data scientist today? Like, where should they start?
All right. The first thing that I would say is definitely do research on which one you want to start off with first. Data analysts and data scientists, though they are used interchangeably, and it gets me so mad, they're not the same thing. They're literally not the same thing. People who are data scientists can easily become a data analyst. And same thing, if you're a data analyst, you just got to learn a few more skills to become a data scientist. But I would definitely say learn a programming language. Python, or I don't know if SQL is considered a programming language, but learn SQL, one or the other, because when you don't have to know them as a data analyst, but when you do learn them, it just makes your job so much easier because you understand where the data is coming from. Like, imagine just having data and you just like, kind of want to clean this, but you don't know how to. As a data analyst, that's so important. And I think that, like, even if you learn like SQL, for example, and I've never used Power BI, but I use Tableau. When you're doing like the calculations in Tableau, you kind of got to understand programming a little bit. Like, you got to understand, like, if you're trying to do certain things like add a new column and stuff, and you're trying to put parameters, you have to know a little bit about coding for it to be a little easier. You can still do it without, but it's like once you understand the concept of coding languages, it becomes a little easier. The other thing that I would say is definitely know what area you want to go into. This doesn't have to be concrete, but a data analyst for like the government is different from a data analyst, and like the healthcare section is different from retail, is different from, like, you came from a marketing background. So like what y'all do as a data analyst is definitely different from what someone else would do in a different field. I think the healthcare field is actually something that I will pivot into. This is not about me, but it's been so interesting to know that like there's so much data out there in like the medical world that like that part of being a data analyst, I feel like they're up and coming and would pay a lot. So definitely the skills, but also knowing like the difference between which one you want to start off with first. You can do both, but which one you want to start off with first and focus on that. Knowing what industry you want to go into. This doesn't have to be concrete, but at least knowing what each industry requires from their data analyst, because it is going to be a little different. And then the fourth one is have fun with it. I feel like a lot of people rush and I need to do this and learn this, but nah, you're going to be learning every day and that's okay. Don't give yourself a hard deadline and be hard on yourself when you don't meet that deadline. I've had a lot of certifications that says in progress on my resume, and it's going to stay like that until I feel like taking it.
Big facts.
It's gonna stay like that, but I'm not gonna give up. And then again, like just kind of looking back at like my journey, just be open to if you want to be a data scientist or a data analyst, but a data engineering role opens up and you like, I can kind of learn this, like just be open to all of those things, because at the end of the day, it's like you're gonna end up where you need to be with a purpose, and it's gonna come around full circle. It's like one of the biggest things that I hated when people was telling me like, just get your foot in the door. It's like, no, it's the wrong door, but it's not, it's not the wrong door. Like you get your foot in the door and you just learn so many other positions. And maybe you might realize that like, maybe I don't want to get into so much of an analytical role. Maybe I just want to be a project manager. I'm going to tell you what to do. That might not be what project managers do for real, but you know what I mean.
Facts.
Well, once again, y'all, thank you for tuning in to All About the Data podcast show. Shouts to everyone in the Discord. We 1,400 plus members now, continuing to grow. So, it's a community that we come together, we help each other, we share resources, provide resources, and we even have some experts in there providing help. And we have our special guest, Fatou, is in there as well. So appreciate that. We're going to go ahead and get into our Tech Titan moment. Shanice, talk to the people.
Tech Titan. Can I get a drum roll? Our Tech Titan
I didn't get a drum roll last time. I want my
God,
you just gotta have that pull, Jamar, sorry. But our Tech Titan today is data viz professional data analyst Jarrett Hurms. We just want to highlight his contribution to the community through his educational Twitter spaces, through his contribution with Black Tides, and just helping mid-level data professionals advance forward. So we see the work that you're doing, and we thank you, and we appreciate you, and just keep doing the thing.
Big fact. Shout out to Black Tides too. Shout out to Black Tides, very powerful community for sure. Fatou, thank you again for joining us. We're gonna do part 2, so I will be reaching out to you.
Next time I talk to you, I'm gonna be aware about my data.
You're right around here. You gotta come prepared.
And if you're,
so you was born in what city?
Nah, I ain't worried. Don't worry about it.
And if you're open to it, I actually want to plan a Twitter space with you and several other people that are in data privacy. I think that this is something that we got to bring to the Twitterverse. So
I'll join.
They got to stop showing their apartment keys on Twitter. We got to get them.
Man, what? You know what? We're gonna talk about this in the next podcast because I'll be
Stay tuned for part 2, ladies.
We're gonna get to it. But again, shout out to everybody that joined in the All About Data podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Music. We appreciate y'all for the support, and we are signing out.